All right. I request my guest to stay on with me. Now, Savitha Shan, a 21-year-old University of Texas at Austin, senior, dual major in Management Information Systems and Economics at Macomb School of Business, was out in downtown Austin's popular nightlife area. She was likely at or near Buford's backyard beer garden, a crowded bar frequented by college students and young adults on West 6th Street. The suspect, 53-year-old Nadiaga Diane, a naturalized U.S. citizen originally from Senegal, residing in Pflugerville, Texas, drove a large SUV, reported as a Cadillac Escalade, past Buford's multiple times, circling the block in the area near West 6th Street and Rio Grande Wood Street. Diane stopped near the bar, activated his hazard lights, rolled down his window, and opened fire with a pistol from inside the vehicle. He targeted people on the patio, outdoor area, and in front of Buford's, striking patrons inside and outside the bar. Shots continued briefly from the car. Diane then parked the SUV nearby, near Wood Street, exited the vehicle armed with both the pistol and a rifle, and continued shooting at individuals in the surrounding area and crowds on the street. He did not enter the bar itself. Savitha Shan was fatally shot during this attack, one of the victims struck by the gunfire from the vehicle and or on foot. Two other victims, 19-year-old Ryder Harrington and 30-year-old George Pedersen, were also killed. Harrington and Shan pronounced dead at the scene. Pedersen died later on March the 2nd after being taken off life support. At least 13 or 14 others were injured, some critically. Multiple 911 calls came in around 1:40 to 2 a.m. Austin police officers arrived within about a minute of the first reports. They confronted Diane as he approached with his weapon. Officers returned fire, striking and killing him at the scene. The active shooting lasted only a few minutes in total. Now, I want to go across to Major General Sudhakar Ji. Major General Sudhakar Ji, now, what are likely the ramifications of this attack for Indian diaspora communities in the US and now for Indian diplomatic outreach?
In one word, I would say we have to be extremely careful and cautious. I've been to this marketplace you just explained in Austin. I don't think they have had such kind of incidents ever in the past. It's a very unfortunate thing, the way you have explained. It's it's a kind of a daredevilry action by the assailant. It is premeditated, it has been by design, it is done with the intent to send a message across, and other, political, social, economic, all issues are interlinked here. So therefore, I personally feel that this is a very dangerous thing which has happened, and particularly in places where you have larger universities, where you have like Austin. I know, I've been to the university. They have almost about 16,000 students studying there, one of the largest universities. So more than 16,000. So and out of 16,000, you find majority are from they're immigrants. They are from outside the country of America. Maybe there is a message which is trying to be generated for these kind of things, or maybe the social or the cultural practices which are not liked by a particular religion, they would be aiming for it. But broadly, I would say that what Ambassador covered about the radicalization, the reality is American society today is heading for very deeply entrenched radicalization. There is a deep penetration which is taking place. We may agree, may not agree. ISIS has gone into the system because they don't have to move physically. It is the internet, it is the social media through which they find easy and simple access to reach out to the people. The vulnerable segment are the people who are jobless. And you have a very large segment of population who are homeless in USA today. That is one of the biggest challenges. Social security is unable to address these kind of emerging challenges. So when people don't have any job, don't have any work, and the social security, they come under the social security cover. Earlier they used to get $1,200 per month. I think it has been raised to a little more than that. So under these circumstances, what do they do? How does the government of United States of America keep them engaged? You cannot give employment, much against the commitment and assurance given by Donald Trump that large number of people, the certain number, 200,000 or something, they would be employed within 1 year or more than that. What has happened? There has been actually people have been laid out from multinational companies, one after another. The large number of vacancies of unemployment percentage has gone up in past 1 year plus. So under these circumstances, it has to have a holistic solution finding, and in order to reach up to that, like you said, in my opinion, global agenda, global counter strategy to radicalization is a tall order. We have not been able to make both ends meet with regard to the counter strategy to terrorism, which was proposed by none other than India itself in 96-97. That document is gathering dust in the United Nations Security Council. Nobody that we have not been able to define, come to a conclusion as to what a terrorist should be. One country's terrorist is turning out to a freedom fighter to other country. The classic example, thank God there is a about turn between India and Canada. But there is a classic example. Pannu is sitting there in America under different kinds of status, and he has got red corner notice by the international police. But what is happening? Why is he not being extradited to India? So such like issues will keep coming up. So therefore it requires a very holistic approach, and that holistic approach has to, in my opinion, it starts with the education. Education is the central point in the human behavior. And that education, since we have the modern and the best type of education in the Western world, it's unfortunate that despite the best of education, that such things are cropping up, because then there is an economic angle, employment angle. So there the livelihood is getting highlighted. So to order to address it in a holistic manner, one needs to actually read between the lines, join the dots, and come to a coherent and kind of a, I would say, consistent strategy, counter strategy, so that these things don't happen in future. But my guess is, having seen, having been witness, having read so much, that USA is not what it used to be.
All right, Major General Sudhakar ji, I'll come back to you. Now, acting